Good evening, everyone. Ladies, gentlemen, teachers, students. You did it. Good work. It's a little bit weird standing here because, as Mr. McKillop said, I'm 35 years old, I still call him Mr. McKillop. I was here 18 years ago as head boy giving a speech, and the funny thing is I actually look better and younger than I did back then, which is pretty good. I'm here tonight just to let you know what I've been up to since leaving the exact place that these students are sitting tonight, and hopefully give you some useful tips to take along with you when you go. And the first thing I want to say is relax, okay? Because some of you are probably stressing out, thinking you have no idea what you're going to do, in fact, no idea what you want to do when you leave. And I just want you to know that that's absolutely fine, okay? You're young, you've got time, you don't need to have everything figured out right now, because trust me, I did not. As Mr. McKillop said, I have done quite a few things since leaving school. I started off, I was a radio announcer, a stand-up comedian, a poly welder, a truck driver, a builder's labourer, a sales rep, a writer, a producer, director and actor. And some of those jobs I loved, some of those jobs I absolutely hated. But they're all part of the bigger picture and all part of my journey. Because what you need to understand is what you do as a job is only a tiny part of who you are as a person. Because as well as the work, during the last 18 years, I've also travelled the world. I've been to concerts and shows and met amazing people who have changed my life. I've learned to ride motorbikes, I've flown helicopters, I've run marathons, swam with sharks. I also got to marry the girl of my dreams and have 2 beautiful/crazy children. All of those experiences have way more bearing on who I am as a person and how happy I am, as opposed to what I just simply do for a living. So don't worry too much about what you want to do. Just think about the kind of person that you want to be. Then decide what career is going to best facilitate that. For me, that realisation came about 5 years ago. I hit 30 and I realised what kind of person I wanted to be from now on. I wanted to be the person who was in control of his own life. I didn't want to work for anyone and have them dictate what I do and when I did it and how much I got paid. I wanted to make those decisions for myself from now on. One of my favourite books is called The Element, written by Sir Ken Robinson. And in it, he talks about how you should always follow your passion. Because if you love to do something, you'll naturally be good at it. And if you're good at something, you can get paid to do it. It's pretty simple. If you hate doing something, you're probably going to suck at it. I love film and TV and making people laugh, so I knew that I could write a film. And before I ever wrote one word, I knew it would be great. So in my spare time, while I was working, I started working on my first feature film. It took about 18 months, and then I finished the script for The Naked Wanderer, a movie about a guy who gets dumped and loses his job, so he decides to get the girl back. He's going to walk up the coast of WA naked for charity. Once I finished the script, I set about getting it made. I raised the finance for the film and casted it. That would take about another 3 years, and that would be the hardest, most stressful, most rewarding and happiest process of my work life. Then, on the 5th of September this year, the film that I wrote, produced and starred in alongside my comedy hero, John Cleese, was released in Australian cinema and has since sold all around the world, including China, Russia, France, Japan, America and the UK. And it's okay, because if you haven't seen it, it comes out on DVD on the 4th of December, okay? And available on iTunes as well, so fantastic Christmas present. When they asked me to do this speech, they said make sure to include some advice for the students, but I know that when I was leaving school I wasn't really interested in advice. Because I get it, what works for me is probably not going to work for you and vice versa. So I'm just going to tell you a few things that have really made a difference in my life since leaving school. And that all boils down to 3 things. Now, the first thing that was a game changer for me is pretty funny, because my mum and dad are in the audience tonight and they'll be laughing and shaking their head, and teachers should probably block your ears as well, because this is coming from a kid that literally did 0 homework while I was in school and never actually read an entire book until I was 19, so sad but true. But the first thing that has really worked for me was realising that I didn't actually need a classroom to keep learning, because although it took me a while to get started on reading, I've now read thousands of books. I listen to podcasts every day, I watch documentaries, and in fact I love learning so much now that I actually go pay to watch people speak And now for 17-year-old me, that was ridiculous. So books have changed my life. I read a book called Writing Screenplays That Sell, and that set me on my journey to writing The Naked Wanderer. I eat what I eat and exercise every day because of podcasts, and hearing about other people's experience in life made me realise that I really can do anything. So no matter what, just don't stop learning, because you know what? Now you get to learn whatever you want. The second thing is pretty simple, and that is focus. You can't be a master of two things at once. If you want to make something happen in your life or become great at it, you just have to focus on it. Work on it, become obsessed with it. Because I can promise you, if you spent just 1 year of your life focusing on that one thing that you want to achieve, your life will change dramatically. And I'm not saying you'll achieve your goal within that year, but you'll be so far down the road that you won't even care. So just focus. Now, the third thing I've learned since leaving school is, without a doubt, the most important thing that I've ever learned. And I was taught this concept by a billionaire. And at the time, he told me that it's what all he and his friends know to be true, and he thinks about this concept every day. And ever since he told me the concept, I wake up and I think about it every day too. So if you remember anything from this speech, please remember this concept. When the mind is right, the facts don't matter. I'll say it again. When the mind is right, the facts don't matter. Now, it probably sounds a little bit airy-fairy, so I'll give you some examples. This one's probably for the students. You guys know who Conor McGregor is? Yeah, cool. All right, good. Well, Conor McGregor is a UFC fighting champion, so he's a master at mixed martial arts, and Conor spoke about this concept in his documentary. He said that nothing good ever came from worrying or feeling sorry for yourself. So stay positive, keep pushing, and things will turn good. Because the facts for Conor McGregor were that people like him don't become professional athletes. He grew up poor in a small town in Ireland and had zero opportunity. But it didn't matter because his mind was right. Before he even had one professional fight, he knew that one day he would be number one. And this was a guy that couldn't even afford to eat and was on welfare less than 10 years ago. Today, he's one of the world's most well-known athletes and made $85 million from one fight in 2017. And yeah, he was super talented, but what set him apart was his positive attitude. Another example is a guy called Ed Catmull, and I can pretty much guarantee that nobody here knows Ed Catmull. But if they do, come talk to me, because we need to chat. Ed was exactly like me. He loved movies, but Ed was not creative at all. In fact, Ed Catmull was about as far from creative as you can get. He was a computer scientist. Ed wanted to make a movie using computers, but he was told all the facts. He was told the technology doesn't exist, it's not how we do things, it's too expensive, and really, who's going to watch a movie made by a computer? But again, Ed didn't care because his mind was right. He didn't care what the facts were, he didn't listen to what people had to say. He knew that he could do it and remain positive, even though it took him 25 years to achieve his goal. He was told the technology doesn't exist, so he invented it. He was told it was too expensive, so he found a guy called Steve Jobs to give him a little bit of money. And in 1986, he created a company called Pixar. And another 9 years after that, he released just a little movie called Toy Story. And for a guy that wasn't creative at all, he now has 56 movie credits to his name. Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, Up, The Incredibles, just being a few of them. And he could have given up a million times, but he knew that it could be done, so the facts didn't matter. But probably the best example of this concept, when your mind is right, the facts don't matter, is me. There were a ton of facts telling me that I couldn't do what I did. You know, Callan, you don't know how to write a script. Yeah, well, I read a book and I learned. Well, you know, no one ever gets their first script made. Yeah, I did. Well, you know what? Australian films take at least 7 to 10 years to get made. Well, I did it in 3. And guess what? You never, ever get John Cleese in your movie. Well, I sent it to him, he loved it, we're best friends now. So it doesn't matter what the facts are, because let's be honest, most of the time they're not facts anyway. They're just people's opinions of what they think that you can do. And all you have to know is that you can do it. Nothing else matters. So stay positive, determined and focused, and there's nothing that you can't achieve. Thank you.